The Mumbling Muppets, take one.
Well, hello, and welcome to yet another episode of our Spanish patio. It is summer, the sun is shining, the days are beautiful. It is the summer holidays. Today, it is all about orchids. Yay?
Correctamundo.
And we couldn't be happier.
Sun's out, guns out.
Roll intro. Orchids.
Not any orchids. This is called a Phalaenopsis.
Oh yeah, here we go. Latin names.
Phalaenopsis. Why are the names so stupid? Phalaenopsis.
Oh, Latin names. Phalaenopsis.
Yeah. Phalaenopsis. That's what these are called. This is when you get an orchid in your as a gift, or you buy one in the shop. It's most likely going to be one of these bad boys, which is the Phalaenopsis, and that means moth orchid.
Moth orchid.
Okay. Doesn't look anything like a moth to me, but there you have it. I don't know what kind of moths you guys have in your cupboards over there in the USA.
Right. So this is one species out of
hundreds. In fact, the orchid is the type of flowering plant with the most species.
Right.
But there's about 80 or so varieties of Phalaenopsis. This being one of them. This one, as you can see, is not very erect currently.
It is.
Little droopy.
It is drooping.
Anyway, so
just a little aside here. This episode is mostly for beginners.
Oh,
this is a beginners.
Totally for beginners.
There's quite a bit of material out there that you can look up if you're more of an advanced orchid user.
Orchidster.
Orchidster. Right. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's for beginners.
It's for beginners. If you want more detail than what we're going to give you now, there's a girl called Orchid Girl. So if you look on YouTube for orchid care, she comes up everywhere. She's got billions of videos about it. She goes into great detail and it's fantastic. So
Link in the
if
description.
you can be asked, that's the one to go see. If you can't be asked, that's where we come in. Those Bichachos grappos.
Right, so let's continue. What is it? I forgot already.
Phalaenopsis.
Phalaenopsis.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
What?
ask me where the orchid's name comes from.
Where does the orchid name come from?
It comes from ancient Greek for
Right.
testicles. True
You
story.
serious?
Yeah, man.
So
Because
why-
there's a
why-
type of orchid where it has these like bulb type. What are they called? These bulb things,
Right.
and they're little balls. So
All
anyway,
right.
so if you get one as a gift, or your other half does, the first thing you're gonna think is, hey, that's pretty, and then when you get home, it's gonna dawn on you. You think, oh boy,
What the hell do I do
what
now?
do I do with this? Okay, so what we're about to cover are some real basics about location, what kind of pot to put in, soil, how you water them, how you fertilize them, and what do you do when the flowers fall off eventually.
Cool. Let's do it. Let's get to it. So first, location. You get some orchids.
You get some orchids, and I'm going to give you the simplest version of every one of these steps,
Right.
because there's lots about it, and I'm not going to bore the fools out of you. Don't put it in direct sun. So, if you got a place where the sun's blasting through the window, like such, you're going to kill it. No direct sun. As bright a spot as you can find in your house where it's not getting the sun rays hitting it directly. Period. Location.
Perfect. Now the flowers. I also noticed that these are same as ours at home. They're on their last legs. I thought summer was the time for flowers, but it turns out I was wrong as far as orchids are concerned, right? Or not?
Well,
or is it just?
I mean, it likes warmth. The thing is that we live in the south of Spain, where when we come to July and August, it's extremely hot down here, and it's very dry generally. And the blooms can, even if it's in the right spot and it's happy, will last several months.
All right.
Okay, but they won't last forever.
All right. And when we say dry, is dry by tropical standards?
We're talking
Because
dry
it's
like
actually-
30-40%
Right.
humidity as opposed to 60, 70, 80.
Because
or like in
anybody
Alabama.
watching you that lives here will say, like, dry? Are you crazy?
Right,
This is,
yeah.
you know, I mean, it is humid. It's sticky humid, but it's not 80, 90% humidity. It's 30, 40%.
So what happens is, because we have quite warm year round, in spring it's super warm here already, so you get the blooms early, but they don't last forever. So right in the peak of summer, now we're just in the 2nd of August. The flowers are starting to fall off, but not because it's the 2nd of August, but just because they've been around for a while.
Okay. Right, but they don't. Do they have a specific time of the year where they bloom, or is it depending on the temperature?
Spring. It depends. You can have it bloom in multiple times, but it's generally when it first gets warm. In early spring, if you're in a hot country like here, or in early summer, if you're in a normal thing. But it's like most plants. They'll flower. Generally, will flower in spring into summer, and some can handle the super hot summer sun, others can't. But the difference being is that with orchids, as opposed to other flower plants, is not reproducing new flowers every 2 seconds. You know, there's some plants like hibiscus where it seems to last a day and then a new one comes out the next day. Right. These bad boys, when they come out gradually, one after another, that's your flower for a while. You know, for several months at a time.
Temperature. Does it like cold? Does it like heat?
Temperature is similar to us. It likes warm. Anywhere between like mid-teens to 30s. It can go up to 35. I mean, it's pretty logical and nothing weird. No extremes. If you live in a country where it's minus 55, orchids ain't for you. Right. You live in the middle of the desert and you haven't got any roof, orchids ain't for you. The rest of us, we're okay. Most of us have a spot in our house that is kind of bright, normally near a window or something, where the sun doesn't blast directly into it, right. But it's bright.
Okay.
If you put it somewhere that isn't bright, you may not get as many flowers. That's the only difference. Okay.
Right.
So, you
know, and I noticed they're in glass pots. Is that because?
What? Potting.
Is that aesthetic?
Potting. Right. Okay.
You see, we've jumped smoothly on to the next
yeah,
point.
This is like
Go
slick.
figure.
We're slick. We're pros. In all likeliness, when you get an orchid, it's going to be something that you either bought in the shop or someone's given it to you. Yeah?
Yeah.
So whatever pot it comes in is likely to be the right kind of pot for it.
Right.
So don't worry about it, whether it's transparent, not transparent, all that kind of stuff. Don't worry about it. Just go with what you got.
Cool. Okay. Easy. That's the kind of thing I like.
Easy.
Right. Okay.
Don't worry about it.
I won't. I'll try not to.
Just don't put soil in it.
Well, that's what I'm getting
soil.
to. So no soil.
No soil.
Why?
Because they don't grow in soil. They grow in trees. Quite literally.
All right. Okay. And their roots are exposed.
The roots are exposed, and it's not soil. It's
cool.
Not the happy place for them. So there's stuff in it that looks kind of like soil, but it's like tree bark and all kinds of crap like that. It ain't soil. If you have to buy soil, buy cactus. It's not a cactus, is it? Right.
It's not a succulent.
If you do have to repot it,
yeah,
go to the shop, and there'll be a bag with some stuff in it that's called orchid mix. That's what you want to buy.
Orchid.
Don't worry about figuring out how to make it yourself. If you want to make it yourself, watch the Orchid Girls video about that stuff and you'll figure it out. But
link in the description.
Yeah. You also have to cover watering.
True.
Because that is important, and it's easy to do it right, but it's super easy to do it wrong too.
I shall leave you with Mr. Blowy here.
Eye candy for the ladies.
Nice.
A little cat growing in my plant.
How often do you water these?
It depends, but simple answer, let's call it once a week.
Once a week.
Depends how hot it is, etc., etc., etc. But if you do it once a week, more or less, you're about right. If it's super hot, and we do it twice a week, then you're covered. But once a week will cover it, probably.
And it's a matter of pouring water over it.
Well, this is a bit that's actually simple, but it's not what you'd think. Normally they come in these little plastic containers, and they'll go like in a see-through or in a vase of some description. Okay, so you don't really want to wet this part of the plant, all the flowers or anything like that. You want to leave that alone. And because these don't live in soil, they're not used to sitting in wet environments. So the only thing you got to do, super easy, is fill it up with water. Fill this with water till just below here. Yeah, so fill up the water so that the roots are all wet. Leave it for 10-15 minutes in the water, just sat there. And after 10-15 minutes, you take your little container out, you chuck the water away, and presto, easy.
It looks so easy, it's actually boring.
It doesn't have to be boring. Watering your Phalaenopsis is truly a rock and roll affair.
Anyway, I think that pretty much sums up anything I wanted to know anyway about orchids. We got location, away from sunlight, temperature, nice and warm, soil, no soil, and then water. Just water the crap out of it and then throw the water away after 15 minutes.
Dunk it.
I got it?
Yeah,
Dunk
think,
it.
think
Dunk
basketball. Think basketball.
It. Dunk it. Beautiful. Am I missing something?
You're not missing anything.
Okay.
You got it. Oh, well, I guess the general rule, just don't mess with it. Put it somewhere nice and bright and leave it alone and follow the steps.
I think that applies for everything. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just don't touch it. Just enjoy the beauty of these things.
Okay, that's it. That concludes an episode of Our Spanish Patio and everything you ever wanted to know about Phalaenopsis.
Phalaenopsis. Anyway, it's hot. We're thirsty. We're tired. We are hot again. We are hungry. Let's go have a swim. Let's go have a barbecue. See you next time.
And Coca-Cola, we're ready for you. Sponsorship space available.
Thank you.